Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hearthstone. Another recording session. So, the first recording session after going back and playing arena runs, we've got 3 quests that are all for the lowest amount of points as possible. So, here's the trade. We've got to decide. Is it better to play 30 hunter cards over winning 3 games? Absolutely. Is it better to win 2 games with Paladin Warrior over 3 games of any class? No. So I have to trade this one out, I think, illogically. And now I have another 40 quest, and I traded a 50 quest at one point, going for a 60, and it seems like every time I trade a 50, it's for the worst, so I probably won't trade 50s anymore. Even though I know you can get 100s and 60s, they seem to be rare enough. We are also, I believe, like 4 days from the end of a month, so that's an issue too. So we just need to get 3 victories and play 30 hunter cards and do the Tavern Brawl. Let's start with that. What is the Tavern Brawl today? Battle Boss Royale. Ever wonder which dungeon bosses are the strongest? Find out. Choose a class and we'll give you the corresponding boss to play. So, Hunter, I suppose, is who we want to play as. That way we play the Hunter class cards. And I have my list here of things to talk about. And perhaps not as many things, but more detailed things today. I still don't really know what I'm doing. Obviously, covering news that's old. But
Stegosaurus Hex versus the White King.
this is interesting. Okay.
On guard.
So it's bosses that are kind of like the Hunter, but not really. Like Curse of Reform. I don't need this one. I don't need these two. I'll keep Curse of Reform. I don't know what his special ability is also though. So this will be interesting. Because I went on an arena run, my Hearthstone deck tracker turned on no deck mode by default. So I have to go turn that off. It seems to give each player a random card that costs 0. Interesting. Well, I guess we should do that each turn. So, perhaps, probably the biggest news.
5. Oh, no.
Right now, is that Marvel, in cooperation with Crystal Dynamics, in cooperation with Square Enix, in cooperation with Eidos Montreal, have announced the Avengers Project. Which, okay, I'm being stupid with the voice, absolutely. My point in this is that this sounds like a really big thing. And it is a really big thing. But in ways you might not immediately realize. So, Marvel is owned by Disney now. They shut down all of Disney's production of video games. Disney Infinity Epic Mickey, I believe, was part of that too. Was there really anything else that Disney itself did? I don't think so. Disney Infinity toys, by the way, right now are going on clearance, and you can get a figure for like 50 cents, which isn't a bad deal if you just want some Disney Star Wars figures with maybe some RFID chips in them that you might be able to hack too. But the problem is the servers are going to go down, and I don't think even the games themselves are going to be playable. So this is interesting. I guess every turn I'm just going to do this.
The light
This.
protects me.
And then this, and then that. On top of Disney's own production of video games, they had, I believe, a contract, just what I said, with Activision. They certainly had a contract with somebody. There was maybe many people, because there definitely was like Marvel contracts for Spider-Man games, like a new Spider-Man game's already been announced, while the previous one has been removed from Steam, which is a little awkward. Let's do this. I'm looking for something like.
Behold the absolute power of Wilfred Fizzlebang!
Like, I'm just kind of hoping. Let's see. This.
I fight.
This. Then that. So, yeah, Marvel had Activision things. There were definitely deals. I suppose this might. It doesn't include, I suppose, TT Games and Warner Brothers and all. So the Lego Marvel Avengers and Lego Marvel Superheroes were two Lego games with Marvel characters. I don't know, they're not included in this Avengers project, but that isn't to say that they won't be allowed to make one more Lego game if TT Game ever decides to do one more Lego game. I kind of have a hard time believing that, with Lego Dimensions at least, they're not going to push some Disney characters in that. Let's see. Christopher Fan. And let's see. What am I trying to kill here? I need to probably kill this. This. That.
I fight.
And in return. So yeah, it looks like this it's gonna be a multi-year, multi-game deal. It really feels like it is the beginning of a contract that was signed, and there's nothing here. It seems rather insane that Crystal Dynamics, maker of the Tomb Raider series, Square Enix, a big company with a lot of different teams, so I'm not sure which Square Enix really would be working on it, if not multiple teams, and Eidos Montreal, makers of the Deus Ex series. It seems really crazy that potentially 10 different offices could be working all on the same game, and that's not, for a second, I think what they're saying. I think they're saying something really different from that.
I fight.
Well, game over. I've won. Christopher Fan will beat him on his own turn. But what you need to see here, or the way I see this, because maybe I'm a conspiracy nut, maybe I just see beyond the obvious. This isn't as much a huge announcement of new games. Let's try all of these. Let's just see what the boss is for all these while we're doing this. It's secretly an announcement of something we don't want to hear. If Crystal Dynamics, the creators of Tomb Raider Reboot, that have done Tomb Raider and Rise of Tomb Raider, and very recently the writer for Tomb Raider left Crystal Dynamics, so it seemed like, well, they're gonna have to find a new writer for Tomb Raider. Now we see actually that they're not going to do another Tomb Raider, not anytime soon. Like, I don't believe Crystal Dynamics has enough manpower to do anything but a Marvel game. And so, in a similar way that Marvel movies are arguably taking away from the budget of new IP and independent things. What does this do? Put a minion from each deck into the battlefield. Interesting. Wow. Well, I messed that one up. I guess we'll just have to keep on trying our pile on ability. I've never even seen this character. What solo adventure was this guy in? Let's see. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other characters. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage. Always wins brawls. Interesting. Interesting. So if I can keep this guy alive till the 5th turn, I can play a brawl. Did the graphics just glitch there? Interesting. So yeah, Crystal Dynamics can't make an alternative. And much like the movies, where if all the budget is really going to Marvel movies, which are big budget action films that don't really tell that in detailed stories and really aren't groundbreaking, and it's turning into really popcorn flicks, Saturday morning cartoon style of stuff where nothing's really gonna change. It's not gonna be that big. I mean, I just watched the Captain America Civil War, and by the end of that movie nothing had really changed at all. So yeah, and I don't think anything ever really is gonna change. This could very much hurt the video game industry, because we are taking people who have made good games like Tomb Raider, which is a video game from itself. It's not based on a movie. They made movies based on Tomb Raider, yes, but not the other way around. And now we're going to do video games based on the Marvel movies, I assume. One assumes this. One assumes that they're not taking the Marvel comic book story and trying to convert that up. It's also, in my mind, the wrong progression, because I think if you're gonna go from comic book to like an entire trade paperback series of stories in comic book to something else, like I would go comic book to trade paperback novel to cartoon to video game, then to movie. I wouldn't go straight to movie and then back to video game, because well, although the video game industry is bigger than the movie industry, it's not certainly seen that way. And so yeah, that seems weird.
What lurks in the depths?
Darn it, wow. That's a well played.
Welcome to the Grim Guzzler.
Well played there. So yeah, Crystal Dynamics, makers of Tomb Raider, kiss Tomb Raider goodbye. You got 2 games on the reboot of the series, and that was it. That's how I see this. Square Enix. Now, Square Enix in particular, I can't really think of like a series that they've been doing really great with lately, and they have so many different fields. Like, I think Square Enix is Final Fantasy, so does that mean they're potentially... I don't remember this character either. Does that potentially mean that maybe some of the Japanese games, the Final Fantasies, the JRPGs, some of the things that aren't immediately coming to my mind, are they not getting worked on anymore? That would be a huge shame. I mean, we've got enough JRPGs. I will agree to that, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal that potentially 3 or more of the relatively small at the end of your turn, replace all minions with new ones that cost 1 more. Interesting. Oh yeah, I remember this trick. This Tavern Brawl is a great way to go back and look at some of these bosses that we haven't fought in a year or more. Square Enix was doing a lot of mobile games, so maybe they're taking like the mobile port teams off of it to do games. But honestly, if a company is making mobile games, then the only thing you probably would suspect they were capable of doing is making more mobile games. So maybe Square Enix will just be making the mobile version of Marvel games. And how many Marvel games are they gonna flood the market with? And what are these games gonna be like? I mean, are they gonna just be like we've seen before, a top-down play style game where you just play as any of 100 Marvel characters, but it's really just a top-down beat 'em up? We've seen some really bad and cheap cell phone ports of games already in the Marvel universe. Every single one of this in this Avengers project, which it's called the Avengers project in particular, not the Marvel product. So, I mean, you're talking maybe a Captain America game, an Iron Man game, or are they gonna try to do things like Black Widow or characters that they just don't feel they can actually make a movie out of, like Hawkeye, or what's his... Yeah, I may not even be naming these characters correctly. But are you gonna make a Hulk game? What is that game gonna look like? There kind of is a great reason why there haven't been any Avengers games at all lately. Is it doesn't really make the most of sense. Even the Spider-Man games never really played well. So yeah, Square Enix. How many of Square Enix's companies or offices are going to be taken off whatever projects they were supposed to work on? How did that character die? I have no idea how they just died. Next we go to this. And then finally you have Eidos Montreal. So we had Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and there was a huge amount of interference with that. Absolutely by the higher ups of Eidos. And they wanted to put in the breach mode, which has now been separated into its own standalone thing. They tried to do a ridiculous pre-order that was so terrible that they had to abandon it completely before even starting. It was a game that was almost completely ruined, and then it wasn't really released in a finished state. But now, yeah, Mankind Divided, after fixing all the problems, a lot of which those problems were not really the fault of Eidos Montreal in particular. Now, one would have to kind of assume that Eidos, the bigger higher ups at Eidos, have told Eidos Montreal, you're not working on Deus Ex anymore. And from what I've understand, Eidos Montreal personally was invested in the Deus Ex series. So if it's not making that if it's not, what does this do? Deal 1 damage to all minions. If any die, summon a slime. Oh, I should have done that. Oops. So there is no more Deus Ex, which Mankind Divided I don't think is what it should have been. Honestly, if we're just gonna be honest, like, it looks like a just kind of continuation of the game before in the main series, which was called Human Revolution. Yeah, it just looks like a slight improvement on Human Revolution. It still had kind of small areas and it wasn't as open world as Human Revolution, so it wasn't a 100% improvement on everything that I would have liked it to have been. This is funny because I have to do something like this. Combo +4 attack anyways. Nope.
Job's done.
There we go. So yeah, wave goodbye to Tomb Raider as a series. We're not going to see that for the next 4 to 10 years, if ever. Wave goodbye to the Deus Ex series. We probably weren't going to see that for 4 to 10 years anyways, but now you're talking probably never. And wave goodbye to some yet to be named Square Enix series that may be your favorite JRPG, maybe something else. That's like, you've got 3 major players in the company. Who is left in the video game industry? We have Activision that Marvel got out of, and Activision doesn't really make great games. You have Ubisoft, which is doing the Assassin's Creed series, and I don't think they're going anywhere. You have WB Games, which makes a few games, and they're not always the greatest. So let's see. I want to do this, and then this, and then this.
Job's done.
And I guess that works well. So yeah, I see the Avengers project as kind of terrible for the video game industry. The way this would have worked a lot better, and here I'm going through an entire episode just talking about the Avengers project, which is great because that means I have an excuse to make another video. The way this should have worked is, instead of Disney getting out of it or spinning off their forces, they should have, let's see, they should have totally I'm gonna play this one. Keep these 2 alive. They should have stayed in the business and said, hey, we've got these 3 new offices that have been started, and they're gonna make 3 new Marvel. They're gonna make mini Marvel games, Avenger games for us, and we've hired a lot of people, and we're in a good position to help and do things. Yeah. But now that the way it is, we're taking 3 of maybe the 6 or 7 top offices that make video games out of play. To dangerously use a football reference here, it's like if your favorite quarterback and running back and halfback, if that is such a thing, all got injured in the same play and they're out for the season. Let's see, for this,
Join or die.
and this.
Job's done.
There we go. So yeah, I'm not happy about that at all. Not maybe things will change or turn around, and somehow each one of those will actually open a new company, and maybe all the Marvel games are going to be great. That's the hope, but not even all the Marvel movies have been great. They've been acceptable, and that's it. So, yeah. This is not what I had hoped to happen. And it's only the beginning, I'm certain. We're going to start seeing stories of people leaving the offices. We've already seen stories of certain creatives leaving the offices and going to start their new offices, which I suppose in the end fixes and does the same thing I was suggesting anyways, is that they should have created more offices and had more jobs and added work. But I just don't see this as adding work. I see this as kind of what the movie industry does, where they're given the script to a movie that would be a new IP, and then they're given script to something from Marvel that they know they can sell a lot of and make a bunch of sequels of, and they make 5 Marvel movies and they cancel, or they don't even start production on 5 scripts that would have been better for the universe artistically and new IP and actually allowed something interesting to be made. I'm really looking at these Avenger games as they will be acceptable at best, because I don't know what you can do with any of these characters in the Avengers or the Marvel Universe for that part and do something new and satisfy the comic book fans and satisfy the movie fans who are completely different and want completely different things, and satisfy the video game fans and have a good game who are also completely different, with very little overlap from those 3 audiences. Now, as for quests here, we still need to play a bunch of hunter cards and deal 100 damage, so we've got a decent amount of work for the next recording. That's going to be it for this recording, though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.